What's good? God is good. I'm your host, Jay Did It. Welcome to Thursday Therapies, a podcast for all creatives, writers, rappers, poets, artists, activists, Sacramento Community Therapy Session. Today we have Zion, the Queen of Sheba, a visionary business owner and community leader with roots in Ethiopia and a global journey shaped by resilience and culture. She lived in Ethiopia till 16, spent her formative years in England and immigrated to the United States in 2001. In the food industry for 20 plus years, and in 2004 she founded Queen Sheba, growing it from Howe Avenue to Broadway in 2007 as a cornerstone for Ethiopian cuisine and community. Yes. She is also the founder of Sheba Farms, Zion Utopia podcast. It is a Black woman entrepreneur, an immigrant advocate, and a mother of three. Zion continues to lead with purpose, uplifting her community through culture, wellness, and empowerment. Welcome to Thursday Therapies.
Yes,
Welcome to Thursday Therapies. I'm so glad to have you on here.
Yes.
I'm so finally glad. We've been talking about it forever.
Yeah.
So, yes. Welcome.
Thank you.
How you been doing?
Good.
Good.
I
Busy
can't
lady. I've been
complain,
trying
yeah.
to get a hold to you. I've been trying to, hunt you down and get you over here.
Yeah,
You
nowadays,
finally made it.
we wear 8 hats sometimes, so.
Yes, you sure
but,
do.
Yeah,
You sure
it is
do.
what it is.
I see you. You're a power force. I see you be out everywhere, and I'm like, I want to be like Zion.
You sure? Don't ask for it.
Be careful what you ask for, right?
Yeah.
Right. So, as you know, Thursday Therapies is a podcast bringing awareness to mental health.
That's right.
Uplifting the community and sharing safe space and be vulnerable and just share your journey and your story and let other people know how powerful you are through your story. So, I want to ask you some questions and let everybody get to know who Zion is.
That's right. Let's go.
Absolutely.
I'm ready.
Absolutely. You got
Yes.
this. So, what was your early life like in Ethiopia? What values shaped you while you were there?
Wow. So, Ethiopia, born in Ethiopia and raised until I was 16. So that really is my foundation. My whole being, my identity, who I am, my culture, my language. That was my first, words that I spoke. So it really shaped my whole foundation. Coming from Ethiopia. So I'm still in the heart,
I love
even
that.
though I left Ethiopia 16. And I always go back as well because I still have family there. So, that's my first home.
I love that.
Yes.
Do you visit often?
Yeah, I go a lot ever since I left. Because even when I left on 16, I was always homesick.
Yeah.
So, but, the circumstances, I had to stay there like at least for 4 or 5 years to get my paperwork and everything. But ever since that, and I've been going back at least once or twice a year, as much as I can.
Right. That's
What
amazing.
I can, yeah.
That's amazing. I love
Yeah,
that. You
yeah.
always got to remember your roots and where you come from. Especially, in these times, family is what it's all about.
Yes.
Definitely. And you should always have that connection with them.
Yeah.
For sure.
Absolutely. It's important because that's who we are. And I still have family, friends,
Right.
Kids I grew up with. I went to elementary school, high school. So I still get in touch with them.
That's awesome. That's
So
awesome.
I'm always looking forward to going home.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. So, how did growing up across different countries shape who you are today?
Yeah, so growing up in Ethiopia, which is not in Africa, it's a totally different culture. And then moving to England, totally different too, which is the weather is different. But I was young, so I had to adapt fast.
Yeah.
So it's easy, when you're 16, it might take a year or 2 years, but it was easy for me to adapt the weather, the people, And I had to go to English school and then go to college, go to university. That's where I went to school. And I also, my first child was born there. So that's my second home too.
Yeah.
So, and then coming over here. So it's just for me, I feel like, I've been exposed to not just, the Africa, the 3 continents.
I love that.
So I'm like international
That's amazing.
citizen.
I love that.
So I'm blessed, honestly.
Yes.
I would not change it for anything else. I wish I could live in any other continent too. But I was, blessed and, fortunate enough to be able to leave. Actually, I lived in Ethiopia for 16 years and I lived in England around 10 years. But the longest I lived is here in
Yeah.
Sacramento. So
Yeah.
Sacramento is my community,
Right.
which is I build my family, my business. So it's just, I was fortunate enough to, go through those different continent and countries to experience and be exposed.
Right. Yeah. No, and
Yeah.
that's a blessing because it opens you, like you said, it opens you up to so many different cultures, and it just that's
Yeah.
amazing. That's enriching to your mind and your soul
Yes.
as a human. That's
Yeah.
I think that's great for
and
you.
and experiencing different walks of life, different
Right.
people from, especially in America. Look at this, we have like, people from all over the world here.
Right.
So for me, it's easy just to connect with anybody.
Yeah.
Because that's what that's part of me.
Yeah, that's what you're used to.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
that is a blessing. That is definitely.
Yes.
So, what challenges did you face early on that built your resilience? With
I
all the
think
movement.
the first challenge was moving to England, the weather and the language. I
Mhm.
had to learn English because Amharic was my first language. So, but like I was saying, because I was young, I had to pick it up fast and went to school. And also the culture, adapting the food because it's different. I grew up in Ethiopia where our food is different, our religion, culture, and everything,
Right.
the way of life is different. Um, so adapting that a different, even the food takes a long time
Right.
to
Right.
so sometimes me, like I was saying, I was young enough to be exposed, but a lot of people still eat the same food. It's like my mom, she would not eat any other food, or
Right.
family, except what we grew up eating. So
Yeah.
adapting those, and the culture, of course, because I came from a different culture, where Western, culture is totally different.
Right.
Yeah.
Definitely
So I had to
different.
adapt all that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that seems a lot challenging. And you were 16, because I mean,
Yeah.
for me, I remember when I was 16, I wasn't doing anything like that. But I mean, that's a
Yeah.
tender age,
Yeah.
because you're really trying to find out who you are, and
Yes.
your identity, and just really, just figuring life out at that age.
Yes.
So you're doing big
Yes.
things at
Yeah.
16.
And I had to grow fast
Yeah.
because now, my sister was young too. She was only 20-year old. So she was only 4 years older than me that time.
Wow.
So I had to figure out, but you get wiser
Right.
faster.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
But you have a support too, community support. So
Yeah.
I was lucky. I didn't have to go through a lot of hard time
Nice.
because I had, Ethiopian community, even though it was small that time, still supported me as well. My aunt was there too,
Oh, nice.
my cousins. So I had a good support.
Oh,
So
that's
that's why
good.
it takes, village family.
Right. That's
Yeah.
true. That is
Yeah.
100% true. I mean,
Mhm.
your family, not only your family, but the community, it definitely does.
Yes, because that's how we were created,
Right.
to belong. Because without a family, we want to talk about the health, mental health. That's why when you don't have that family, when your family are not there, at least your community will be
Right.
there,
Right.
or your relatives will be there.
Right.
So that's how I grew up in
Right.
Ethiopia.
Yeah, no, that's important.
Yeah.
That's important to hold on to that and to teach
Yeah,
that to your
yeah.
children and your grandchildren, and
Yeah.
keep that legacy going.
Absolutely, I'm still holding on
Right.
to it.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Uh,
So when did you first feel a sense of purpose in your life?
I think ever since I was young, I think I always had that purpose in life because I was always driven.
Mm.
So that's why I was not scared to be really, even I was 16, just to
Yeah.
move to a totally different country. So I was actually eager to, adapt it fast
Yeah.
and learn fast. So I think maybe at young age, I'm always eager to learn more and adapt more.
Yeah.
So I'm always open to new things too.
Yeah.
So I learned it, and it helped me because now I was exposed throwing at 16.
Right.
So I have to learn. So it was good.
Yeah, you're out there making
Yeah.
change in the world. Yeah.
Now and then when I come here, I mean, when I was in England, I was a student too. So I was also working at my aunt's restaurant.
Oh.
So that's when I discovered, even though I was doing something else at college, doing information system and math and all that, And then sometimes you don't realize what you're really good at.
Yeah.
So I discovered it by accident.
Okay.
So when I was a student, I was working for my aunt's restaurant. It was Ethiopian restaurant, a
I
small
love
restaurant
that.
called Aksum. And I just loved it. I loved going there and my customer service island there, my
Yeah.
food, how to cook food. The elderly really taught us and took care of us, the cooks. So I learned everything there. And then I realized, this is what I want to do.
I
So
love
I
that.
kind of discovered it young age, which was good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. And now you can pass it on to your children.
Yeah.
I love
So
that.
when
I
I
see them
came
there.
here, it was
Yeah.
no brainer. I'm like, there's no Ethiopian food here, good vegan, vegetarian. And I did work before that too. My first job was actually, it was at a Pizza Hut
Oh, wow.
in England. So
Yeah.
I was, cleaning table at 16, making some money.
Yep.
It was, it's good. And then moving into different stages.
Oh, wow.
So when I came here, I worked different restaurants
Yeah.
too, So that helped me as well, get to know the culture of,
Right.
through food. That's
Yeah.
why food really exposes you. That's why me working different restaurants here in Sacramento. So I realized, this is the food.
Yeah.
I had to learn the food. And then I realized, okay, there's not even enough vegetarian or vegan and healthy food option.
Right.
You
Yeah, you've been
American food.
around a long
Yeah.
time.
And then for me, it was no brainer that I wanted to open, Queen Sheba restaurant.
Yeah.
And I was maybe 29 then, 28,
Yeah.
29.
Wow. And you're still going strong. I
Yeah.
love that. I
Yeah.
love that for you.
I had to learn all the way, but it's all good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Do you
Yeah.
think of opening any other restaurants or?
I would say, I have my Sheba Farms now, another
Right,
baby.
right,
Restaurant
yeah,
is like
yeah.
a baby,
I forgot about that.
It's
You sure
hard,
do.
but it kind of shapes me into, who I am.
Right.
Running a restaurant and at the same time being exposed to different walks of life, people coming, enjoying my food and learning the culture
Yeah.
through food,
That's beautiful.
It was just so beautiful.
Yeah.
So I didn't mind doing it.
Yeah.
So it was my passion.
Right.
So, sometimes the first 2, 3 years, I was just working with my tip, honestly, but just paying with that. And until, I moved to Broadway, because how, restaurant is hard. You have to pay the rent, you have to pay the employee, so much expenses.
Right.
So by the time, you're done, maybe you have 5-10%, even that is
Right.
left. But it is because it gives you, for me, I don't mind it because I just love serving customers.
Right.
That was who I was.
Yeah, you're serving
Yeah.
customers. You're educating them too. Like
Yeah.
you said, they're learning the culture, and it's a
Yes.
blessing to
Yeah.
have that for people that don't get to experience that.
And it connected me to the whole, community
Right.
here, and not just Sacramento community and beyond.
Yeah, definitely.
So it was just, I loved it.
I love it too. I love that for you
Yep.
too. So
Mhm.
let's switch gears to mental health and healing. So when did you
Yes.
become aware of your mental health journey?
For me, mental health, is part of our life. I look at it holistic health,
Right,
our holistic health.
right,
We have to have our spiritual health.
Right.
We have to have our God. That's separate, our
Right.
spiritual health connected to the spirit.
right,
That can affect our mental health. Also, our mental health, really thinking, being grateful,
Right.
thankful, giving back to
Yeah.
community, not just receiving,
Right.
and just everything that the Bible says, respecting your parents, your elderly. That was what I grew up on, that culture. That was our base, foundation. So that is our mental health, really. Also, our emotional health, our physical health,
right,
also our financial health.
right. It's all connected.
It's all connected. But for me, through my food,
Yeah.
the food I eat, the healthy food, because at the end of the day, our gut health, if our gut
Yes.
is healthy, and then our mind can be healthy,
Right.
and nobody is. I mean, it's curable through food or
Right.
through community
Right.
or through, we were not born with mental health,
Right,
So But society, where we at as people, where we are in, as a civilization, we forget our food.
Right.
We are far away, especially here in the United States. That is the last thing we're thinking about
Right.
is what are we putting in our body, because
Oh
that
yeah,
is
that affects
very,
it.
very important. So I always connected mental health for me to food, everyday today food. What are we putting in our stomach? If we're happy, the food makes us feel good, and we feel good. So I believe, there's a lot of different way, people get mental health, but, food is very important.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but
Absolutely.
that's the reason we live is really the first thing is food and water and shelter.
Right. And if you're
Everything else
eating
is
like junk,
extra.
then you're gonna feel like junk,
Yeah.
So that's why they call it junk food,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. So in
Definitely.
Ethiopia, I grew up eating food that is always cooked fresh
Yeah.
every day. We come home for our lunch and snack and dinner. You have your breakfast. So
Yeah.
every day I grew up eating 4 meals,
Yeah.
consistently. And then when I moved to England, there's barely, very portion controlled,
Okay. Okay.
and very everything is like, even McDonald's, they have a policy when it comes to food. They can't just serve you food like America food. You know what I mean? Everything is controlled
Yeah.
by the government.
Yeah.
So food is very, you know, uh, Europe is very. We don't have GMO and all that. Well, we can eat GMO here.
Wow.
So, and then I come here, it's a totally different thing. The portion is
Definitely.
bigger. There's so much fried food, salty food. Everything is like a heart disease and diabetic and high blood pressure. Everything, cancer.
Right. Right.
Comes
Yeah.
from the
It's
food we eat.
overconsumption.
Yeah,
Absolutely. And all of that messes with your mental health
yeah,
for sure. Definitely.
absolutely. Yeah. So, and healthcare, we don't have the healthcare, like I was saying, when I lived in England, healthcare was free.
Right.
So everybody has that free healthcare. So they are taken care of.
Right. And here
Yeah.
it's a lot. It's too
Yeah.
much, and
It costs money.
it costs a lot, and
When it costs
people
money,
are like, pay the rent, or do I go get a
yeah,
doctor or therapy,
yeah.
or that sucks that it has to be like that.
Because healthcare is supposed to be a human right,
Right.
just like housing,
Right.
healthcare, food is basically a human right.
Right.
So education. So the healthcare part is what is, especially for us Black people and African American, been abused by the system for generation.
Right.
And then you can't expect, here you go out and be functional human being out there without your mental being affected.
Right.
So, but there's no cushion for that they get, free health care
Yeah.
to take care of that.
Yeah. No, then they have to make
And the youth,
decision.
look at the youth right now because of social media too. That's another.
That's a whole nother
That's
show.
another thing.
That's a whole nother episode.
Yeah, the
That's a whole
social
nother
media,
episode.
the computer, the
Right.
technology, the
Yeah.
internet. We're living in the practically in the social media society,
Right.
AI
Yeah.
society. Now we're moving into AI society,
Right.
but I don't know if our kids are mentally ready for that type of
Yeah,
thing.
no, that messes with your mental health
Yeah.
for sure. So,
Not saying it's bad, it's good. We
you
have
just
all
have to
that.
learn it, just like everything
There's
else. You have to use it in
everything else.
moderation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But look at Facebook. If our kids don't know, they get hooked on it,
Yep.
and there's so much stuff going on. People happen to people,
Right.
and we just let them. They don't have no rules and regulation
Right.
that controls them.
Yeah. It's another
another-
controlled drug.
yeah.
That's what it is.
It's-
That's
yeah.
all it is. So how have major life changes impacted you emotionally?
Changed my life because emotionally, I would say it made me more confident because I've always been a shy person. Do you see what I mean? Because, when I was in high school, even in Ethiopia, we really grew up sheltered,
Yeah.
especially when you're a girl, it's different. But once, for me, just being myself and connecting with people
Yeah.
through my restaurant, serving people, that's what actually changed me completely.
Yeah.
Like, people are just like me.
Right.
We're not different.
Right. Right.
We might have different, what I mean, personality
Right.
and whatever. I just realized there's no point to be afraid of people,
Right.
but to connect with them. And so that really changed my whole, mentality about just approaching people and just talking to people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it broke you out of your shell.
Yeah, the restaurant helped me do
Definitely.
that because
Yeah.
I had no choice but to talk to people.
Right.
Yeah.
So, what mental health challenges have you faced as a Black immigrant woman?
I think for me, it's not just mental health. It's just getting over from people judging you because a black or a woman or immigrant. People judge
Right.
regardless.
Right.
But figuring it out, or men not taking you serious because you're a woman.
Right.
So the stuff that I deal with is that, I'm always dealing with men, we're dealing with people out there who can look at you, in a different way. But I had to learn to be above that,
Yeah.
Above people's ego, above people's mentality,
Right.
or their own judgmental.
Yeah.
Only God, my mentality is only God can judge me,
Facts.
as long as I have my own integrity and who I am, and I know my identity. Nobody cannot tell me who I am except God,
Right.
So that's how I operate. But like you were saying, it's just so hard as just being a woman as it is.
Right.
Even women don't take you serious sometimes. So we have to, and then you have different accent. Now you are judged by your accent
Right.
too because you are immigrant. And by being a black person, of course, the systemic system that it's not people. I'm not saying people are racist, but the system is
Right.
created that way. So you have to get navigating through the system, even
Takes
just to
longer.
get the basic things
Right.
that they were supposed to give small businesses in underserved, underrepresented community. Just fighting for that itself is exhausting. Like
Wow.
So, but I have to do all that because
Right.
of what I'm trying to do.
Yeah. You just have to keep showing up.
Yeah,
Keep showing up no
keep
matter
showing
what.
up. Yeah,
Yeah, that's
as long as God is still, keep me alive and
Yeah.
be there, and taking care of me, providing me, protecting me, and I keep on moving on.
Keep on moving on.
Yes.
Yeah, you showing up. I see you
Showing
keep
up
showing
all
up
the time.
all the time.
I see some change, but it will change.
Right.
Yeah.
It definitely will. So, what
Mhm.
tools help you stay grounded during hard seasons?
I think honestly, I would say my faith. My
Yeah.
faith in God
Okay.
is what keeps me moving on. He's my strength. I always come to that core. Like at the end of the day, life is what is important.
Right.
And, the faith I have, not fear, you know. So, and then I believe, work with no faith is dead, or faith with no work is
Right.
dead.
Dead.
So
Yeah.
that's how I function. So everything I go through everything, but I come to that core,
Nice.
God,
Yeah.
He's still here with me. I'm still here doing what I'm supposed to do,
Right. Right.
you know.
Yeah.
So that's what gives me really a lot of strong, of course, community, family. Without that, I couldn't even move a small needle. Just
Right.
to move a little bit, you gotta have a whole network system. That's why I'm always networking. As you
Right.
see.
I see you out there. I see you out there networking all the
So
time.
we need people.
Right.
I love. That's why I pray for.
Yeah.
For people, for the right people to really help me to go to the next step, and that's what I do.
Right. If you're out there networking, you will be aligned with the right people. And that's for sure, because I feel the same way 100%.
Yeah.
Working on projects and just being out there in community. I follow your social media. You be out there.
Yeah, relationship too,
Yeah.
Relationship is what's sitting us right here.
Absolutely.
So I always love connecting to people, not just, work and all that, and just human level.
Yeah.
We are all human beings.
Right.
We want the same thing,
Yeah.
So I love connecting and creating that relationship.
Right.
So when people know what you do and then you can align yourself as
Yeah.
well, how where you can work together or
Absolutely.
do things together.
Right.
You
And
know?
that's why I love you, because I see you uplift so many people with your restaurant, and then holding space for your restaurant, because I've been to the women's fellowship over there, and
Yeah.
that's amazing.
So
You know,
I
that's just
love
all these
that.
beautiful black women just uplifting each other.
Yeah.
And so that's
We
what it's
need a
about.
space. Yeah.
Right.
I think having that space, to be able to create that. Before, I used to have poetry night for a long time too,
Yeah.
before
I
COVID.
remember that.
How many young people we also had at the back patio. We had, music. So it's just so, for me, seeing that is what, keeps me going. Like,
Right.
oh, I came there before,
Yep.
for poetry night, for music,
Yep.
for this and that. So that is what this community is about, really.
Nice.
So when everybody knows your name.
Right.
Sheba right there.
Queen Sheba.
Yes.
Yep. So, how do you balance vulnerability with being seen as a strong woman?
But I just don't see myself like I'm a strong woman. And I just do whatever it's like. When you go to the gym, you have to work hard. You can't just like, ooh, I'm lifting.
Right.
You gotta put your 100%, effort.
Yeah.
So that's what I see. Me, I just put 100. If I'm signing up to do something,
Right.
I put my 100% there.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I don't sign up for nothing.
Right.
That's why, if I'm going to do something I say I will do, then I have to do it.
Yeah.
So that gives me strength because I already said I would do.
That's absolutely
This
right.
So I don't, I just don't say myself like I'm a strong woman, but I am a woman who's doing what a lot of women do, which
Right.
we wear a lot of hats.
Right.
A lot of women do what we have to do, raise kids, raise everybody.
Raise everybody, raise the community, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's just good to be. I just love being me, myself, and I like, being a woman doing what
Right.
we're supposed to do and being inspired for other girls and other women.
Yeah.
They can do that too.
They sure can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If a black woman, immigrant, can
Right.
come and do what I have to do, imagine how many black women out there can do even 10 times
Right.
bigger stuff than I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We just got to keep showing up for each
Yeah.
other,
Yes, we
definitely, and
have
holding
to.
space for each other.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Teach one, reach one.
Absolutely.
We have to pass down to the other generation so they don't have to go through what we have to go through
Right.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's beautiful.
absolutely.
That's beautiful. So, what inspired you to become an entrepreneur? That's already in your blood, or you kind of
Yeah, I
answered
think
it?
it just happens
It just happens.
because even by nature, I'm always trying to, I see opportunity
Yeah.
everywhere.
Yeah.
If I had the fund, I could do this, I could do this, I could do
Right,
that. So
right.
my mind is always very creative when it comes to that type of thing. So they say, Sheba, for me, happened to be like TEF. I see everybody wants gluten-free injera, gluten-free TEF.
Right.
So I'm like, look, I'm in California, agriculture state. UC Davis right here. So why don't I just grow it and supply it for everybody else if there is a demand for it?
Right.
I know it takes time. That's why you have to be patient to, when you have visions and missions and goals.
Right.
So, but once that entered into my spirit, I just knew I had to do that.
Okay.
It's not only just, oh, I'm going to be selling TEF, but I knew it was such an important part of human being grain that needs to be, shared with the rest of the world.
Yeah.
So it was no-brainer for me. Let's go. I'm going to do this. So I got to do this. So that's what I did.
So how did you handle the challenges? Because like you said, you started in 2018 with Sheba Farms, and then COVID happened.
Yeah, COVID was another thing, But, for me, I always navigate through where I'm at.
Yeah.
So COVID time, even though I couldn't go back to Ethiopia, but I was working here to
Right.
make sure that at least, the business plan, what I want to do, the roadmap, I was working on it.
That's
And I was
discipline.
working with,
Yeah.
with connecting with people,
Yeah.
how we can actually make that happen here in California. So that is the work now that I done to now, right now, just, like 10% that left just to put it on the ground.
Wow.
So all the work from research development to mass production to agro processing to marketing and distribution.
Yeah.
That's what I worked on, all the whole value chain. So now I'm just ready to just produce my TEF and,
I love that.
and share it with the world.
I love that. I see you
Yeah.
out there at Sheba Farms.
I love
see
it
you out
too.
there.
You know, like
You're
I'm
gonna
a
have to bring
farmer
me out
now.
there
You
now.
know?
Yeah, yeah.
And it's just such a beautiful thing. I'm like,
It
God, now
is.
you're making me a farmer. I mean, I couldn't ask a better thing.
That's
You just-
beautiful. That's
yeah.
inspiring to me because
Yeah.
I'm like, at some point, I want to have my own garden and own
Yeah.
farm because I want to start, like you said, mental health is, it has to do a lot with what you put into your body and what you eat.
Yes.
And
And what you do, sometimes you do things that you're not really aligned to.
right.
And then now your mental health is affected. But for me, even though I don't make money going there in farming, I just love it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
it's for my mental health, just being out there and being with the soil, with
Right.
the people, and
Absolutely.
just doing that is just healing.
It is healing.
It is healing.
It is healing.
So I say we need to go back to the soil that where we came from.
Right. Back to our roots.
Yeah.
For sure. Definitely.
Uh-huh.
Back to our roots.
And then grow my food to like, Queen Sheba food organically, my plant-based food.
Yep.
I mean, I could do that every day, all day.
I love that.
Yes.
I love that. Yes, you're inspiring me. So how did you push through fear and self-doubt?
Like I was saying, I have no fear. But I tell people the only thing I'm afraid of is height.
I'm afraid of heights too.
So I try not to have fear
Right.
because, it kind of cancels the faith that you have with God,
Mhm.
So if you have faith, how you have fear?
Right.
I mean, there is practical fear.
Right.
If somebody's chasing you, you know what I
Right,
mean?
right.
Obviously, you gotta be. But I'm not gonna be like, oh, what if this happens? Or what if that happens?
You don't even think that's not your mentality.
No. Or I could have done this
Yeah.
because maybe God wanted me to learn that. Maybe for wisdom.
Right.
Maybe I didn't have the wisdom if I make a mistake in the past.
I like
So
that.
that's how I see it.
Yeah.
But in the future, I try to put my effort in my truth in what I know. And if I don't know, then I can reach out to people who
Right.
know, who can
Right.
help me.
Right.
So I try not to have no fear except the real fear itself. Somebody
Right.
chasing me, obviously, or knocking on my door.
Right.
Then I
right.
give you, what the hell is that?
Yeah, that's a short
That's a
moment.
real
fear.
But like in just general in fear, no, because I always try to do what I know I can do.
Right.
And if I fail on that, then it is what it is.
It is what it is. You got to take it as a lesson.
It is what
and
it
push,
is. I'm
keep
still
pushing.
here.
Right. Yeah, you still here. That's right.
That's
what
what
I'm
matters.
talking about. I
It's-
like that.
Yes.
I like that. So, what has entrepreneurship taught you about yourself?
What it taught me about myself is like I can't stop myself type of
Okay.
thing. This is something I want to do. I don't think I'm one of those people who like to be out there. So it's not for everybody.
Right.
So what it taught me is like I'm not really a person who, like stay in one place and
Right.
be happy and
Mhm.
content. I am not content. I'm always looking for more and more.
Right.
But it's okay.
Yeah.
So I'm always out there and out and about. So
Yeah.
that's what it taught me. Being, entrepreneur is really, finding the right things to do, what you are aligned.
With.
I know people say, oh, you're doing this, you're doing that. If I'm doing event, it's to do with what I do.
Right.
If I'm
Right.
doing a Sheba farm because I'm doing Queen Sheba.
Right.
So it's always if I'm helping community because community is helping me.
Right.
So I do community work too. So everything I do is whatever God aligned me to do, the work that I do.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's what taught me. It's like I'm not like doing this and totally different something else.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
no.
just creating my own entrepreneurship right there and there
right.
from what I do already.
Yeah, and you just
Yeah.
growing and elevating every time.
Yeah.
Yeah, just growing and elevating
And
each
that's
time.
what, just like
learning.
just like farming, we got to grow it. We got to put good nutrition into the soil, just like we have to do the same thing.
Yeah.
In order for us to be fruitful,
Exactly.
we have to do those things that
Exactly.
gives us fruit.
It sure does. So, what does leadership mean to you today?
Leadership is a challenge because sometimes it's just so hard to lead people.
It sure is. It sure is. We were just
That's
talking
why
about that
sometimes-
earlier.
yeah,
We were like,
sometimes
you'd be better
I'd
off doing
rather
it
just
yourself.
do it myself. Like, that's why I'm trying to do this and this and this.
Yep.
But, at the end of the day, I tell people, even, Jesus, God himself, he had a team.
Right.
If it wasn't for his disciples, which is the
The
team,
team. Yep.
we wouldn't be, Christianity wouldn't be where it's at right now.
Right.
So what I figured out is that you always have to have the right people around you, the right team.
That's right.
No matter what I do, Queen Sheba, without the people who supports me,
That's right.
I couldn't be sitting here talking to you. I would be probably in Queen Sheba doing the work.
Right.
But, sometimes we might think that they might not do it as good as we do it, but it's okay,
Right.
That's why it's called training. We got to be trained, training and education. I believe in really training and education is very important.
Absolutely.
So, through that, and team of people. You want people, if you are in the farm, you need people who have a wisdom and skill and knowledge when it comes to farming.
Right.
The same thing with the restaurant. I had so much help, when
Right.
it comes to marketing, when it comes to accounting and all that stuff I had to learn. I just wanted to sell some food.
Right. Exactly. That's
A
what we
whole
do.
lot goes into it, like, oh my gosh, I didn't sign up for this.
Right. Everybody doesn't see the struggle. Nobody sees the behind the scenes and
Yeah.
all the work you have to put in to build it up. They just see the final product and like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, this is cool. That's why so many people give up. But you've been going for a long time.
But I had to learn to be patient.
Right.
I had to pray to be patient.
Right.
Because without that, honestly, I wouldn't even you can't do nothing. I'm still learning to be patient.
Yeah. We all a work in progress.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah.
So, how do you support the community while protecting your own mental health? Like, do you take days off? You have family, so you have three kids and a new grandbaby.
No, I try to not work on Sundays, So that's my family day, my church day, my do nothing day.
Yeah.
If I can do nothing, But it's always something. Even
I was gonna
on
say,
a
do you find
Sunday.
yourself you got to cook dinner, you got to
Yeah.
do the laundry, you got to tend
Yeah.
to the kids?
Just spending even the time with the kids, because sometimes the work we do, there's always a sacrification.
Right.
We have to sacrifice our kids.
Yeah.
The time we were supposed to spend, with them. But at the end of the day, what we do is for our kids too.
Right. Yeah.
They might sacrifice a little bit here, but it's gonna benefit them in the future.
Yeah.
Maybe one day they'll be thanking me, my mom did this,
Right.
But they still need their mama.
Yeah, they
So,
do. They
yeah,
sure
the
do.
kids, they don't care,
Right.
what you do, what you don't do. They just want you to be at home all
Right.
the time. But, I grew up, my dad was a civil engineer, so he really was always out there working.
Right.
And my mom was also worked overseas, in Saudi Arabia.
Nice.
So we grew up with the, aunts and uncles and community and everything without, we never felt that we didn't have parents all the time telling us what to do to be around. So that's what I believe too, as long as we surround them with good community, family, friends.
The village.
And the village
Yeah.
will raise them,
Yeah.
I can be there all day, every day looking at them, but we need that village and family,
Right.
So that's what I believe I'm raising my kids that way.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good though. You do take one day out. I try to do the same thing, but sometimes it's
Yeah,
challenging
it's
when you
challenging.
out there doing
Yeah.
when you out there leading everybody.
Yeah. But I wouldn't say, I'm leading. I think we all leading ourselves we just need to come together to change,
Right.
community for better.
For better,
Yeah.
always for the better,
Yeah.
always for the better.
Yeah.
So, what impact do you hope your work has on others?
I just feel hopefully, people would be inspired,
Yeah.
because we always have, oh, I can't do this, we can't do that. Oh, the system wouldn't allow us. Oh, I'm a woman. Oh, I'm a black person, I can't do that. So, what I do hopefully would break that cycle,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So people look at me and say, look, if she can do it, I could do it too,
Right. Yeah.
especially for the young black women,
Yeah.
There's Americas, there's a lot of opportunity here under the sun. We have the
Right.
technology, the school, everything here.
Right.
So, but it's just showing them the access where that is.
Right.
So if I can just show that access to for the next generation so they don't have to go through what we have to go
Right.
through, I think that's, a win for me.
Yeah, and you've been holding it down for quite some time, and because I see a lot of people, a lot of restaurants, and a lot of different businesses. They come and they go. They come and they
Yeah,
go, and
sure.
you've been holding strong.
I went through the recession.
Right.
Remember 2008, it was the worst recession. And then we kind of picked up 2011, 2000, around that. And then I had a fire too.
Yeah.
Remember, somebody tried to burn my
Yeah,
restaurant,
that's-
but God is good,
Right.
I recovered that fast. And then COVID happened.
Right.
And then people, breaking in and all that kind of other
Right.
things going on. So there's so much stuff goes on, but like I said, my faith is what keeps me going.
Right.
Look, you bring me out, then I'm just gonna keep on moving,
Right.
because it says, you can fail 7 times, but you gotta pick yourself
You gotta
7 times.
keep
Gotta
getting
keep-
back up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's what's up. That is what's up.
that's
So,
what I'm gonna keep on doing, regardless.
I love that. I
Yeah.
love that. So, how do you lead with empathy in business and in life?
I think, for me at the end of the day is giving back.
Yeah.
Mental health come also from not giving back,
Right.
because I feel like we're living in a very tight, greedy society. We have to give back.
Right.
That's how I feel like, everything I do, I'm thinking about for the next generation.
That's right.
Not just, sitting there, oh, I feel sorry for this and this, but what can we do? What can
Right.
I do? What can you do? What
Right.
can we come together and do something and make the city, the county, the state accountable where we
Right.
live at?
Right.
That's where I'm at. If we don't make them accountable to invest in our youth, in our women and children, in our health care, in our alternative education, in
Right.
food and everything, then we're still going to operate in the same old system
Right.
that expecting to function for the next generation. And
Right.
it's not going to work that way. So
Yeah.
by doing something about it, then we can, heal the community, heal society,
Yeah.
through food. That's what I believe, because I believe food is your medicine and health is your wealth.
Right.
So I believe we can heal people through food,
Yeah.
not
Absolutely.
chemicalizing our food.
It's true. That is 100%
Yeah.
true. That is
Yeah.
100% true.
And
Watch
our
what you eat
community
and
need
put in
to
your
be
body.
healed. Yeah.
Yeah, heal the community through food and community and just being together,
Yes.
having
Yes,
access
just
to
being
healthy
human
spaces.
being. Yeah.
Right. That's
Money
right.
ain't gonna buy us our mental health or our happiness. Just us being people together.
Right.
That's why we were created that way.
Right.
We're not created to be alone. We were not created to eat chemical.
Right.
You know?
That part. That part.
So we gotta get back to living naturally, the
Right.
way God has given us everything under the sun.
The simple life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To share.
Yeah. And share.
Have some empathy and and all that for others.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. So, what legacy do you want to leave your children and the community?
I mean, the legacy, I would say, really, changing, I would say a lot of stuff like our food justice, our social justice,
Right.
our economic justice.
Right.
All that is still a lot of work. So for me, I would say I'll focus on the food justice.
Yeah. That's
because
what's up.
food is the main thing. So that I think working through food and healing community through food would be my legacy, I would believe.
I love that.
Yeah.
Especially with Sheba Farms too. You're doing
Yeah.
that. You're
Yeah.
leaving that legacy and healing
Yeah.
people and helping people,
Yes.
be able to eat healthier foods.
Yeah. I
I
really
love
believe
that.
teff will be in the future, a household grain.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to be just for people who are allergic to gluten, whatever, just even for your own health, for
For your
your
own
gut
health,
health.
right. People need to start thinking about what
Yeah.
they're putting in their bodies. For sure.
Absolutely.
For
Absolutely.
sure. So how do you hope your story inspires others?
In a positive way.
Yeah.
Yeah, in a positive light, I hope that, it would inspire because most people they just the determination,
Right.
and believe in yourself,
Yeah.
believing in God and yourself, would inspire hopefully people so we can really do change the world.
Yeah.
It takes a village to do the right thing for this. Well, look what's going on around us,
Right.
with the war, and why are we spending all that money when we can actually spend all that money into people,
Right.
into our kids and youth,
Right.
so they can become a healthy society, wherever we at,
Right.
whether we're in Africa or America or Asia or Middle East, whatever we at, we have to focus on the youth and the kids and the women and children.
Right.
If we invest our money, our time and energy there,
Right.
that's what we need as a human being.
That's it.
That's what we need.
That's all we need.
So that's what I believe we should focus on.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So what advice would you give your younger self?
My younger self, that I just wish I had done like more business education, and I just wish I had more financial literacy too, because when I came here, I didn't know how to build my credit.
Right.
I didn't know what financial literacy is, save your money on the underside, even though I was naturally like that.
Right.
But in the meantime, there was no education as a young person. So I wish, for me, I probably would do, instead of what I did at college, I would have done business study or
Yeah.
accounting,
Right.
or something to
Right.
do with business. Would have probably, instead of taking me 20 years, could have maybe taken me 10 years.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with that.
So that's why I believe like most of us, especially parents, we have to look at our kids, what they're good at,
Right.
and support on that.
Right. Invest in that.
Invest in that. So
Absolutely.
so that's what I do with my kids. What are they good at? What do you really want to do?
Yeah.
Without have to be paid.
Right.
Would you do it even if you don't get paid?
Right.
So those are the type of thing that we have to look inside us
Right.
and then build that skill.
Yep.
Yeah, and get it done.
Definitely. Yeah. And just to be able to have that support,
Yes.
because a lot of people don't have that type of support to
Yeah.
want to do those types of things. But if you, like you said, invest in your kids, invest in what they're good at, that supports their mental health overall when they know that they have supporting family members and they're able to do what they love
Yes.
and what they're good at.
Yes. Yes. But we can't
That's
force
healing.
into them because, oh, you got to be engineer or doctors, blah, blah, But what if that's not them?
Right.
You know,
They'll be miserable.
They'll be miserable. That's another mental health right there.
Right.
Especially with young kids, what pressure we put on them, and instead just give them the platform and the choice to make.
Yeah, too many
and
kids are
what they
living the
wanna
life
do.
their parents want them to
Yeah.
live.
Yeah, because I really believe God has given each every one of us a unique, separate talent and skill and
Absolutely.
everything. That's why I believe in education.
Yeah.
Because education helps you figure out yourself what is it you want to do
Right.
and all that stuff. So
Right.
education is very important.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
nobody can take that from you.
No.
The more you learn and the more you learn about yourself, nobody can take that
Yeah.
from you, and it makes you stronger.
Yeah, yeah, and you'll be sustainable.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for coming on Thursday Therapies.
I know, I'm so
Where can people
happy.
find you? Queen
Yeah,
Sheba
Queen
Farms.
Sheba Farms. QueenShebas.com for people to order some food. and I do catering,
Yeah.
Sheba's catering, everything is
Right.
Sheba,
Absolutely.
Sheba Farm, Sheba Catering, Zion
Yes.
Utopia. I do a lot of podcasts too, I was part of the reparation program last time, so we did a lot of program. What is it really our community needs?
Nice.
That type of thing. So I try to, communicate with the people with the power too, so they can help
Right.
our community accordingly. So I'm all over the place, but Queen Sheba is where you find me
Yeah.
most of the
Yeah.
time, cooking
Yes, I
some
love
food,
that.
serving some good food,
Yes.
We have the buffet, the vegan buffet Monday to Friday.
Right.
We have the injera bread, it's
Yes.
fermented, three
Oh,
days,
yes.
healthy, everything, real sourdough bread
Mm,
and real plant-based food,
I love
and
it.
we cook with spices and herbs, natural ingredient, no processed food.
Right.
So I'm just bringing exactly what I grew up eating
Yeah.
here. So
I love that.
I'm happy to serve it
I love that. I love
with the
that.
happiness.
I love that.
Yes,
So, yes, thank you so much. So, until next time, stay grounded, keep the conversation
yes,
going on mental health, subscribe, comment, like, and check yourself, check your mental health.
yes. And self-care is the best health care.
I got that. Self
That's
care
right.
is the best health care.
That's right. So
Thank
take
you.
care of yourself
Yes.
and your community and your family.
Yes.
Yes, we need each other. Absolutely.
That's Moses, stupid.